Greetings, 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 and salutations, one and all. Welcome, 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 welcome to the night shift. How you doing? It's a Tuesday night right here. It's Healthy Love Night. I want to say big ups to each and everyone locked in right now. If you're on TuneIn Radio, the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. One Harmony Radio across the pond, top of the morning to you guys over there. WGLRO with the morning show with Donnie Walker, taking it from the streets to the streets. Yeah, Donnie is still on vacation, but he's coming back soon. He's coming back soon. Get ready, get ready, get ready. Those tuning in on PEMGTV.com. Big ups to you. And of course, right here at the home of the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew, KevinStew.com. Glad to have you. Couldn't do it without you. You have my word. I wouldn't even try. This is Jaga. A track called Nice.
I can't stay home. I must go out and roll. They used to say don't play mass if you're afraid of the powder. Whoa yo, stay out of the heat if you can't take the fire. Whoa yo, how they want me stay inside and sleep this hour. Don't know, and this only sweet so can't beat it out of the speaker. Whoa yo, this thing feeling nice. It's how we rocking and me. This thing feeling nice. It's how we jamming and me. This thing feeling nice. It's how we rocking and me. Soca music so appealing. It's how me in my feelings. Soca hammer. Singing and we singing and we singing and we singing and we singing. Soca hammer. Singing and we singing and we singing and we singing and we singing. The melody sticking and it's sticking in my brain. The rhythm is sticking in my vein. Please excuse if I whine on your bumper. Whoa yo, but my head well bad and it's not from liquor. Whoa yo, and I can't stay home, I don't want to retire. Don't know, and there's only sweet soca beating out of the speaker. Whoa yo, this thing feeling nice. It's how we rocking and me. This thing feeling nice. It's how we jamming and me. This thing feeling nice. It's how we rocking and me. Soca music so appealing. It's how me in my feelings. Soca hammer. Singing and we singing and we singing and we singing and we singing. Soca hammer. Singing and we singing and we singing and we singing and we singing. The melody sticking and it's sticking in my brain. The rhythm is sticking in my vein. The place does mash up when you hear the soca music. The place does mash up when you hear the soca music. The place does mash up when you hear the soca music. The whole place mash up when you hear the soca music. This thing feeling nice. It's how we rocking and me. This thing feeling nice. It's how we jamming and me. This thing feeling nice. It's how we rocking and me. Soca music so appealing. It's how me in my feelings. Soca hammer. Singing and we singing and we singing and we singing and we singing. Soca hammer. Singing and we singing and we singing and we singing and we singing. The melody sticking and it's sticking in my brain. The rhythm is sticking in my vein.
Want to say thanks to Pulse Media Group for sponsoring this segment of the show. Pulse Media Group and being in the moment is priceless. So what can Pulse do for you? They can take your moment where you're taking pictures, you're streaming on your devices, your personal devices. They can kick that up a step. And you can stream that event on a secure medium, live and in living color. Or if you're one like me and you do a regular broadcast, they can give you a platform like you see right here on kevinstew.com. As a matter of fact, if you have a website, they can host it for you. The possibilities are endless. Give them a call. 754-999-6020. Pay them a visit. paulcmg.com. See the applications that are available. See if they have one that is a fit for you. And if you don't see it, call them and ask them, hey, listen, can you do this? Because chances are they can. Tell them you heard about them from the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. They love getting that kind of referral.
And there's only sweet soca beating out at the speaker.
It's Jaga. Track is called Nice. It's only sweet soca beating out of the speaker. Yeah. It stopped beat now. For those of you just tuning in, welcome to the show. Don't worry, you haven't missed anything yet. We're just kicking it off. If you want to get in touch, I encourage you to jump on into the stew pot. It's where we keep things bubbling. Others call it a chat room. We are fancy over here. We call it the stew pot. And you just go to kevinstew.com and that's all you need to do. You're right there. You start typing and leave your message there. I'll get it. Don't worry. No need to panic. No need to fret. Also, you can call and you can text 773. Yeah, you can know I'm Jamaican, right? 773 773-789-STEW 773-789-7839. Number gets you in touch. You call, you text, and if you are overseas, you can Skype. Yep, Kevin.stew. Everything is easy. Is that? kevinstew.com. Kevin.stew on Skype. 773-789-STEW. Telephone, text. Listen, it's all up in the stew. All up in the mix. And just to give you a little preview, so to speak, tomorrow on Real Talk, it's all about the stew. That's what I'll say for now. I may say a little bit more later on before we get out of the show tonight, but that's all I'll say on that for now. As we're talking about stew, one of the nicest stews that I've ever consumed would be stew chicken. One of. I didn't say it was the nicest stew. One of the nicest stews. Stew chicken. Now, tonight on Healthy Love, we're talking about chlorine chicken. And I know there are some people that are raising their eyebrows going, what is chlorine chicken? And those two don't really go together, chlorine and chicken, unless you're cleaning up after preparing raw chicken. You should not be using chlorine and chicken in the same sentence. Well, not only are they being used in the same sentence, but they're being used as back-to-back words. In the US, most poultry that comes from concentrated animal feeding operations, CAFOs, most of it is washed in a strong chlorine or other antimicrobial solution as a way to kill pathogens. What other antimicrobial solution you talking about? Your guess is as good as mine. They just say it's antimicrobial. The chlorine, though, the chlorine rinses or sprays, these are intended to act as antimicrobials themselves that reduce salmonella and other common causes of foodborne illnesses. The European Union, the EU, they do not use chlorine washes on their chicken. And they want to be no part of America's chlorinated chicken either. It has banned U.S. chicken imports. The European Union, they've banned chicken imports since 1997 due to the practice of chlorine washing. So apparently this chlorine washing thing isn't a new thing. No. But some of us are hearing about it for the first time. That's okay. One of the things that we try to do here on the night shift is keep you abreast of some of the things that is happening, even if it is just to your chicken breast. Alright, so the concern isn't necessarily due to the chlorine wash itself, though. So don't go off into a panic. But it is due to the fact that it may allow for poor sanitation and dirty poultry to enter the food supply. The real fear is that heavily soiled birds, heavily soiled chickens may not be sufficiently disinfected, and that relying on chlorine washing could lead to poorer hygiene standards overall. And this was what Simon Dawson, who is a food safety expert of Cardiff Metropolitan University, had said in some writings. However, the UK's plan to exit from the EU opened up the issue for debate, as the countries will have the option to reconsider their current laws. And these include whether or not to accept chlorine chicken from the US. Now, we know when it comes to politics, there are a lot of things that are involved. Cool. We're not going to really get deep down into that tonight. But the US government offered to pay up to $93,257. And you might say, that's an odd figure. Well, £75,000. Okay, now you put things into perspective, right? Conversion. So the US government offered to pay up to £75,000 for an organization to gather up prominent British journalists and take them on tours of US chicken farms. The goal is to create a favorable spin on the US chicken industry as a whole, including the practice of chlorine washing. In a tender, which is a British term for a contract bid, in a tender seen by BuzzFeed News, it is stated that the purpose of the press tour is to alleviate misconceptions about U.S. farming. I'm not too sure if a press tour in and of itself can alleviate misconceptions about U.S. farming. U.S. farming, I don't know what misconceptions you can have of it. Pretty much what you think of it is what it is. But who am I to say? I'm not a U.S. farmer. The misconceptions include animal welfare standards, genetically modified organisms, and labeling, and the use of antibiotics in livestock production. Media stories about industrial scale U.S. agriculture, usually focused on so-called chlorinated chickens, are negative, misleading, and often inaccurate. Participants will explore small, medium, and large farms representing various certification standards: organic, natural, and conventional. Research institutions supporting science based agricultural practices, government agencies that focus on ensuring food is nutritious and safe, and other relevant institutions connecting to U.S. farming. Goes on to say the locations should be carefully chosen to be geographically and culturally diverse and reflect the breadth of choice the U.S. consumer has when making food decisions. Now, the tender, the bid, also cited a British survey that found only 1% of all British consumers would buy American meat over British meat. As it stands, the European Union allows only water to decontaminate meat, which means imports of chlorine washed chicken are not allowed. The ban was put in place based on precautionary measures, according to Dawson, who wrote, "When the ban was introduced, officials were keen that food manufacturers would focus on overall hygiene rather than relying on single chemical decontamination to eliminate microorganisms. It was also believed that the chemical decontamination step could encourage antibiotic resistance." Now let's pause for a moment and take a brief look at this. So basically what they were saying is they're encouraging water washing only to clean the poultry. I cannot see why this is such a horrible thing. Because if the chicken is good in the first place, if it is raised well, and it is prepared in a clean environment, then you shouldn't really have a problem with the chicken. You shouldn't need to be washing the chicken itself with bleach, with not bleach, but with chlorine. So, or bleach, either or. Yeah. So, the whole idea that American chicken farmers, poultry farmers, are resorting to using chlorine to wash the poultry before putting it on the market says that it should raise a flag. I'm not talking about a green flag either. It says something about the preparation of the meat. It says something about what is being introduced to people in America across the board. Nobody realizing that there's a big red flag flying? Or is it that there's so much money being pumped into the institutions that would raise concern that they're turning a blind eye? Things that make you go, Sir Ian Boyd, Chief Scientific Advisor at the Department of Environment, Food and Rural Affairs, DEFRA, gave the green light to chlorinated chicken in an interview with Sky News, stating there were no health concerns from eating such meat. From a health perspective, he goes on to say, there isn't really a problem with chlorinated chicken. The issue is about production processes and animal welfare, and that is a values-based choice that people need to make. My view is that we need to be allowed to make that choice. A briefing from the Center for Food Safety called Boyd's statement misleading. I would say typically CAFO farmers have been misleading But, okay. You do the research and see what you come up with. One of the briefing's co-authors, Tim Lang, professor of food policy at City University, stated, for the chief scientist at DEFRA to say what he did is not accidental. Read between the lines. Professor Boyd's statement may be an early sign that Westminster is trying to soften up the public for lower standard food imports from the US. He added, they are very keen to have a trophy trade deal post Brexit, and the lowering of UK food safety and animal welfare standards, well, it's at stake. We cannot accept what is sure to lead an unprecedented and radical decline in food quality standards. Here in the US, somehow, some way, at some point, we have allowed the standard to fall. With the falling of these standards came the increase of pharmaceutical products. Why were pharmaceutical products increased? Because there came an increase in illnesses that called for the use of pharmaceuticals, more pharmaceuticals. More pharmaceuticals because you had more diseases that were resistant to what was already available in the market. You see how it ends up being a cycle. And not a really nice cycle either. Not a simple cycle, but a cycle that leads to more detrimental cases each time. Again, big red flag flying. Nobody noticing? Research published in MBio raised serious concerns over the use of chlorine washing, revealing that it may not remove bacteria as expected. The study involved spinach contained with listeria and salmonella, which was subject to chlorine washing. After the treatment, the bacteria were not killed, but rather entered a viable but non-culturable state, VBNC, meaning they could still cause food poisoning, but could not be picked up by standard testing. So the standard test that you were doing would say, oh, hey, listen, the food is clean. These data show that VBNC foodborne pathogens can now be generated and avoid detection by industrial practices while potentially retaining the ability to cause disease. Again, big flag flying. Do you not see it? Further, in compliance guidelines released by the USDA's Food Safety and Inspection Service, FSIS, it's explained that chlorine rinses and sprays have the potential to make contamination worse instead of better, depending on the force of the water pressure used and the direction of the spray. So we're causing more problems. So it reads, when applying water rinses and sprays, establishments should consider the water pressure applied. Some studies have found that elevated spray pressure may force bacteria into muscle or skin rather than washing it off. Rinses or sprays should be designed, installed, and calibrated to remove incidental contamination. When not properly designed or implemented, rinses or sprays may not effectively remove contamination and may even spread contamination from one part of the carcasses to another part or to adjacent carcasses. aside from the notion that chlorine washes are simply a way to perpetrate unsanitary and inhumane conditions on poultry farms, the use of chlorine washes and chilling poultry in chlorinated water can lead to residual disinfection byproducts, DBPs, in the poultry. Now, DBPs, these residual disinfection byproducts, are highly toxic and can actually be carcinogenic. While studies suggest poultry chilled in chlorinated water likely contributes only 0.3% to 1% of daily exposure to DBPs, it is still a contaminant you're better off avoiding. So, with the whole washing, the whole chlorine washing thing and spraying of the poultry, what it is that we end up doing is possibly not just not washing off the contaminants off the surface of the poultry, but beating it into the skin and flesh because of the amount of pressure that is being used in these washes. So, not that it's bad enough that it's on the surface of the meat, but it's down inside the meat, no. By way of trying to make it cleaner. Yeah? You see a problem here? And if it just so happens that you only had one particular unit of meat that was contaminated and you're going to wash it off with this high pressure, you just might not only beat it into that unit of meat, but the splash and spray could contaminate other units. So now you're spreading what it is that you're trying to get rid of versus getting rid of it. And throughout this whole thing, they're saying, okay, just clean up your act and provide meat from a cleaner source rather than use a dirty source and try to clean it up. That's all they're saying. Is it so difficult to provide clean meat for consumption? Is it so difficult to provide clean chicken that you have to be using chlorine washes and rinses that potentially cause more harm than good? And not only are you now transferring the virus and beating the virus inside the poultry, but you have disinfection byproducts that can be carcinogenic. Okay, fine. It's less than and goes up to 1%. Why do we need that additional 1% of something that could be potentially harmful to us? Aren't we faced with enough potentially harmful things out there in our environment? Why are we adding one more to it? Yeah, it's just 1%. But if we have 99% of other carcinogenic things out there, whether they be whether it is floating in the air or swimming in the water, this 1% makes our environment 100% carcinogenic. Didn't you look at it that way? Nobody looked at it that way. If every nickel makes a muckle, every little bit counts. This 1% could be a very big deal. We're going to take a quick little break. Call a friend, tell a friend. It's Healthy Love right here on the night shift. We'll be right back.
Pulsey Media Group, innovative streaming and recording, has done it again. A new way to get your business in full view of your neighborhood consumer through AdShare TV. It's available in your neighborhood today. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. Become a host today and place a TV monitor in a strategic location so it's easy to see. Get a 1-minute video ad or longer that plays anywhere in our network. Can't be a host? No problem. For a few dollars, we'll run your 30-second video ad. A host can run announcement specials like buy one get one free or discount ads. Let's turn your flyers into a 30-second video with music or a voiceover, or let us create and run your video ad with a spokesperson. Take advantage of our early enrollment discount. Join us today. Your ad will be seen at least 30 times per day in your AdShare TV neighborhood. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. AdShare TV, part of Pulse Media Group.
Are you crazy about the music industry? You aspire to hit it big in music? Or maybe you've sweated out a soulful killer beat and are now stuck finding it's not as easy as it looked. Oh, but it can be easy for you with JTMC. We've been there, we know how it feels, so we solve challenges like production, promotion, marketing, branding and development, and more. With over 30 years of experience, JTMC is a one-stop shop for artists. We handle your graphic design, writing services, PR, as well as event planning, e-blasts, artist management, and bookings, so also your website and social media needs as well. We're experts in using creativity to persuade audiences on behalf of artists, drawing on our diverse experience to create projects that connect with audiences intellectually and emotionally. Artist success is everything to us, and our years of experience and commitment will be behind you for every one of your needs. If you've got music for the world to hear, whether you're a new or established artist, visit us at jtmcenterprise.com.
I'm in almost every school bus and classroom. You see me around the neighborhood and you tell me that I'm a pretty good kid. Well, I'm one out of every 5 children in America, and I'm struggling with hunger.
Please visit feedingamerica.org today and find your local food bank for ways to help.
Every dollar you donate helps provide 8 meals for kids like me. We are Feeding America, brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Matthew 28:19 says, "Go ye therefore and teach all nations." With this in mind, and encouragement received during a South Florida media conference, The Church Links was birthed. The Church Links is an interdenominational worship service portal for churches, providing the tools to spread the word through technology in a cost-effective way. The Church Links, www.dahchurchlinx.com. Your links to worship and praise.
Hey, I'm representing for DJ Kevin Stew, working on the night shift radio show. Won't go changing like the weather, just to please the devil never. Will DJ Kevin Stew sell his soul? That's a word and honor. It's Christine representing word and honor. Selassie DJ Kevin Stew.
Speak the truth. Hey, hey. No one forever. I look and know. Shut up. The truth don't need no debate, no way. Why you hype up yourself? How you know say I lie you a tell? The truth no call for no argument, no way. So why you defend yourself when you know say I lie you a tell? You tell a lie till you confuse yourself. Run down money and you don't got no help. Put your heart where you can't reach it. You ready? I see people things. Tell me why you want. If it have a ulterior motive and it's no secret. me. Tell us the truth. Don't need no defense. No way. Why you want to defend yourself when you know say a lie you want to tell? The truth, no call for no argument. No way. So why you want to hype up yourself when you know say a lie you want to tell? You know say a lie you want to tell. A song for you want to sell.
The truth doesn't need any defense.
You know say a lie you
Oh, what true words.
a song for you want to sell.
Want to say thanks to Althea and her Healing Heavenly Hands for sponsoring this segment of the show.
The truth don't need no defense.
Althea is a licensed massage therapist
Why you want to defend you
and she'll come to you. So if you're in
want to sell?
in Broad County, North Miami-Dade,
Run red.
South Palm Beach County,
Lie you want to
just give her a call. She'll come to you.
why you want to sell?
You just call her 954-655-9000.
The truth don't need
954-655-9000. Did I give 3 zeros? It sounded like more.
when you know say a lie.
You can email her at thealita@att.net. 954-655-9000. If you don't know how many zeros in 9,000, that's your problem. The sound of Jadon. It's called The Truth. New music from him. And so very, very appropriate. You know, if it's a truth, then it stands alone. You don't really need any defending of it. And it's funny, you know, I saw this meme once, and it goes along the lines of a lie is like a 100-meter sprint, but the truth, that's more like a marathon. Go ahead and let that sit for a minute. Welcome back to the show. It's a night shift with DJ Kevin Stew, Healthy Love Night. Tonight we're talking about chlorine chicken. And I encourage you guys to share with me and share with everybody else that is tuned in. Go ahead, jump into the stew pot, kevinstew.com, or call or text 773-789-STEW, 773-789-7839. We want to hear from you. I'd love to get some direct feedback from you guys. So those in the pot, thank you. Glad to have you. To those who are not yet in the pot but listening in, glad to have you. Couldn't do it without you. The British, and I'll say big ups to One Harmony Radio representing Britain right now, carrying this show live at this very moment, top of the morning to you guys. Big up musical genius, Queen Genius. But the British have a right to be concerned about opening their refrigerators to US food. They have all right. Considering an analysis by Sustain, which reveals rates of foodborne illnesses in the US are significantly higher than in the UK. They found that annually, 14.7% of the US population suffer from foodborne illnesses compared to 1.5% in the UK. Now, it could be argued that the United States is larger than the UK. And so when you have 14.7% of the US population versus 1.5% in the UK, it could be the same number. No, it's not. That's not how you argue that. It is what it is. Keith Dalmany, chief executive of Sustain, said in a news release, our analysis shows that if we accept imported meat without robust standards, we may also import increased food poisoning and possibly even deaths. The US is demanding we drop our food standards for trade, but our research shows cheap US meat will come at a cost to our health and economy. Now, of course, I have a view on that. Because in the same way that the disease rate in the US has increased over the last few years, the UK is trying to prevent that increase because they don't have that much pharmaceutical sales in the UK. And as a result, the US is pressuring them to do it. And this is, of course, my opinion at this point. The US is pressuring the UK into taking this meat because the pharmaceutical business in the US is so booming that they want to take it overseas. So if in the UK they don't have the drugs that they have in the US, then how better to get it there than through the food supply? Again, am I just being a conspiracy theorist? Or does that make some sense? Indeed, chicken is easily one of the most contaminated foods in the US and also has a weak nutritional profile compared to the protein sources, including pasture-raised chicken. Because we're talking about generally consumed CAFO-raised chicken. One study by the USDA Agricultural Research Service, ARS, found that chicken samples gathered at the end of production after having been cut into parts, as you would purchase in the grocery store, had an astonishing positive rate of 26.2% contamination with salmonella. 26.2%. That sounds like a little bit because it's less than 50%, right? But still, it is more than 25%. Many people are not aware that chicken is responsible for an alarming number of cases of foodborne illnesses every year. According to US CDC statistics, there were 5,760 reported foodborne outbreaks between 2009 and 2015. Resulting in 100,939 illnesses, 5,699 hospitalizations, and 145 deaths. Of these, chicken was responsible for the most outbreak-associated illnesses. Whopping 12% of the illnesses, 3,114 of them in total. Chicken alone. Salmonella contamination is of particular concern, as data suggest multi-drug resistant salmonella has become particularly prevalent, and raw chicken has become a notorious carrier of Salmonella, Campylobacter, Clostridium perfringens, and Listeria bacteria. Even a significant number of urinary tract infections may be caused by contaminated chicken. I will say this. As a consumer of so much chicken that I will probably soon sprout feathers and walk and cluck and get up in the morning and crow, this is a concern. This is a not just a regular concern either. This is a serious concern. what are we doing to ourselves here in the US? Seriously. What are we doing? Because we are killing ourselves slowly. For what? The almighty dollar? Are we serious? And even so, who is benefiting the most from this dollar? Who is getting this dollar? What percentage of the dollar is coming back to the mass population, which happened to earn less than what is necessary to accomplish the great American dream? Oh, I'm straying from the topic. It all comes back to this. A June 2018 FSIS report found that the extent of salmonella contamination in U.S. chicken parts is largely unknown because 35% of large chicken slaughter facilities in the U.S. are not meeting FSIS inspection standards. But they're still in operation. Perhaps in response, in November 2018, FSIS for the first time publicly published chicken producers and their rankings on salmonella safety standards, which are updated each week as new samples are tested. The rankings range from Category 1 to Category 3. Category 1 describes facilities that had less than 50% of the maximum allowable salmonella during the testing window. Category 2 describes facilities that had more than 50% but still within the maximum allowed. While Category 3 is the absolute worst. These are facilities that exceed the maximum level of salmonella. So me, the feeble-minded, the fact that there's an allowable level of salmonella is kind of crazy, but I guess it's unavoidable. But when you have categories and like this, and reports exist, and you have all the categories being populated, especially that Category 3, that's a problem. If you look at the FSIS rankings, what you'll notice is the frequency of Category 2 and Category 3 on the list. A Category 3 ranking isn't grounds for immediate suspension either. Instead, FSIS notifies facilities if they don't meet standards, and at that point decides whether further action is needed. So you go ahead and you say, hey, listen, you over there at facility Tom Stroke, your facility is not meeting the required standard. I'm just letting you know. We'll get back to you if we decide that we're going to do something about it. But just letting you know now that something is wrong. And they're just left to operate as normal. Not with immediate effect you're going to get shut down. Not we're pulling your products off the shelf, but hey, you're not up to standard. I'll get back to you with what we're gonna do. That's crazy. But I can understand why the European Union would take the position that they take as it relates to importing the chlorinated chicken. Because if we have these standards in the US for the US, what kind of standards are we going to export what is going to be the benchmark that we're going to export products if locally we're putting out substandard products? What are we going to send abroad? Don't we typically keep the best for ourselves? Or that's not how we operate? And when I say we, I'm speaking loosely and generally. As recently as the 1920s, chickens were raised primarily for their eggs, not their meats. Their eggs. And back then, chicken meat was expensive, not considered very tasty, and only available seasonally, as chickens were typically slaughtered in the fall after they were no longer needed for laying eggs. Now, unfortunately, it is virtually impossible to mass produce clean, safe, optimally nutritious foods at rock bottom prices. This includes chicken, which is why people are better off avoiding CAFO chicken. And that's a concentrated animal feeding operations, if you don't know what a CAFO is. We talk about it regularly here on the night shift. So whether this CAFO chicken is from the US or it is from somewhere else, it's still CAFO chicken. And if you cannot imagine giving up chicken, finding a local grass-fed farmer raising chickens on pasture is the safest and healthiest route to go. I will say, even me personally, have not been doing all that I can do to find the best chicken out there for consumption. But I'm mindful of it. I'm definitely mindful of it. And it is important, very important, to keep abreast of what is being consumed in my house. I'm concerned for my children. I'm concerned for my family. And it may sound, like, ooh, you're so extreme. You want to go find pasture-raised chicken. Well, when I was growing up in Jamaica, that's pretty much the chicken that I consumed. And the branded chicken was an occasional thing. If you can find somebody that was raising chickens and you could get a chicken here or there, it tasted different. It cooked different. It was very different. Nutritional value was a whole lot different. But we have watered down our standards, and it goes across the board. So typically we end up getting whatever we're given, and you take what you get and you don't get upset, kind of a deal. But we need to move away from that collectively. There are farmers using poultry-centered regenerative agriculture systems, in which tall grasses and trees protect the birds from predators instead of cages. In addition to optimizing soil temperature and moisture content, extracting excess nutrients that the chickens deposit, bringing up viable minerals from below the soil surface, and being a high-value perennial crop. That is the opposite of CAFOs. Regenerating the land instead of destroying it. Raising chickens humanely instead of cruelly. And producing nutritional, superior, safe food. You might even consider raising your own backyard chickens. Have you thought about that? I thought it was the most awesome thing when I moved to the community that I live in now. And I heard a rooster. I was like, what is going on here? Am I back in Jamaica? What is this? And not only did I hear a rooster, but I saw chickens outside. I'm like, where am I? I can tell you this though. I still have not found where these birds nest. Because I've been eyeing some of these chickens. Don't tell my neighbors. But I've been eyeing them. Because where you have 1 and 2, you may have more. And you may have eggs. And if they're regenerating and they're allowed to roam freely, then they're free range. You catch my drift? You see where I'm going with this? So don't tell my neighbors that their chickens are on notice, but raise your own chickens. If you have the space, if you can afford to do so, do so. You can also try leaving all CAFO chicken at the store and opt for other chicken produced foods instead. You know, your eggs, and particularly your organic pastured variety of eggs. Not the pasteurized, but the pastured. While chicken is advertised as a healthy source of protein due to contamination concerns, you want to go with non-CAFO pastured chicken or eggs. Whole eggs are an excellent source of protein, healthy fats, omega-3s, and antioxidants, including choline with vitamins A, D, K, and E. Pastured eggs can provide you with much of the nutrition that the CAFO chickens cannot, without the risk of contamination. And guess what? There's no chlorine washing involved. Now, if that sounds good to you, because it sounds good to me. So if that sounds good to you, maybe, just maybe, it is worth looking into. We're going to take one more break. When we come back, we talk just a little bit more before we get into the much needed musical therapy. We'll be right back.
It takes an entire village to raise a child. Hello, I'm Paul Campbell, here to talk about Palace. Peace and Love Academic Scholarship. This non-profit group supports students facing serious obstacles from entering or continuing their studies, not because the grades are failing, but due to the lack of financial support.
Over the past 8 years, Palace has awarded 600 scholarships valued at approximately 50.3 million Jamaican dollars, or 415,000 US dollars.
Together, we must build a better future for our children. Please visit www.palace1.org and make your donation to brighten the future of a deserving child. Palace, preserving young minds for posterity.
When being in the moment is priceless, consider the ability to share that moment. If you can video it, you can broadcast it. And Pulse E-Media Group has the tools you need. Weddings, birthdays, funerals, graduations, church services, parties, seminars, you name it. Pulse E-Media Group can provide you with a secure medium controlled by you to broadcast your event. contact us at www.pulsemediagroup.com for more information. Pulse Media Group, when being in the moment is priceless.
JTMC Music presents the highly anticipated, much talked about, The Juggling Rhythm Volume 1. This classic rhythm takes on a new life with tracks from both established artists and introduces some incredible new voices. Get your dancing shoes ready with The Juggling Rhythm, featuring international reggae dancehall artist Mr. Vegas, alongside Ian Sweetness, Ed Robinson, Jack Radix, Hezron, Dangling, Joanna Marie featuring Galaxy P, Denny Ranks featuring Jawiz, Ambalik, Christine Alicia, Yishka. Also the new sensations on the rhythm: Zeal, Danger Lee, Marquis Skelenar, Zachary. Available on all digital media outlets. The Juggling Rhythm. Get it, get it, get it.
Today in school, I learned a lot. In chemistry, I learned that no one likes me. In English, I learned that I'm disgusting. And in physics, I learned that I'm a loser.
Today in school,
In math,
I learned that I'm ugly and useless. And in gym,
In biology,
I learned that I'm pathetic
that I'm fat
and a
and
joke.
stupid.
In history,
Today in
I learned that
school,
I'm trash.
Today in school, I learned that I have no friends. In English, I learned that I make people sick.
And in
And at lunch, I learned that I sit on my own because I smell.
and in
In chemistry, I learned that no one
In
likes me.
biology, I learned that I'm fat and stupid.
In English,
And in
I
math,
learned that I make people
I
sick.
learned that I'm trash.
The only thing I didn't learn in school today,
The only thing I didn't learn today
The only thing I didn't learn
Is why no one ever helps.
Kids witness bullying every day. They want to help, but they don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov. A message from the Ad Council.
Yes. Carmantino, I'm making notes right now. You are locked in to DJ Kevin Stew on the night shift.
Eyes open up, I'm waking up. The life you love, me not give up. It got me trust, so do it up. I just keep the walk. You can't fail if you try no way. Let God be your guide all day. Give your all every time I say. Just know you are not penny nobody. Right now while you have this today. Go all out and don't go halfway. You can win, that is all I say. Just know you are not penny nobody. So when you're meditating, I got money, good life you're penetrating. You want those big straight elevating. Go hard right now, no waiting. The question is what you do today, king. You can't cheat life, that I know debating. You have to put in the work, forget the great things. All night, all day, till you see the scrapings. Ching. You can't fail if you try no way. Let God be your guide all day. Give your all every time I say. Just do you want no penny nobody. Right now while you have this today. Go all out and don't go halfway. You can win, that is all I say. Just do you want no penny nobody. Me I beg you overs when you talk. Me no mean you fi work hard. When me mean is your fist man, massa. Cause some who know I go hard. Now see my who know yard. Always pan guard, no sir. You fi include the master. Overstand say that a the forecaster. Get balance with God in the center. So everything you want you will get done faster. You can't fail if you try no way. Let God be your guide all day. Give your all every time I say. Just do you want no penny nobody. Right now while you have this today. Go all out and don't go halfway. You can win, that is all I say. Just do you want no penny nobody. You can't fail if you try no way. Let God be your guide all day. Give your all every time I say. Just do you want no penny nobody. Right now while you have this today. Go all out and don't go halfway. You can win, that is all I say. Just do you want no penny nobody. Eyes open, I'm waking up. It got me trust.
Got to open up your eyes. I want to say thanks to JTMC for sponsoring this segment of the show. You can't fail if you try. Let JTMC help you to try. They'll take care of your tour management, your bookings, your promotions, your event management, your social media management, your entertainment management. All you got to do is give them a call. They have a brand new number, 954-300-2574, 954-300-2574. Or you can visit them at jtmcenterprise.com. Tell them you heard about them right here on the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. So we really have to open up our eyes to what is happening around us, because it's a real concern. You know, these are real things that are happening in real time, and we don't want to. We'd prefer to not have to deal with the real consequences, and the real consequences are quite scary. The BBC News reported that fears over chlorine-washed chicken and other U.S. farming practices have been described by U.S. Ambassador to the U.K. Woody Johnson as inflammatory and misleading. Mr. Johnson urged the UK to embrace U.S. farming methods after Washington published its objectives for a UK-US trade deal. He said the process was used by European Union farmers to treat vegetables, and that it was the best way to deal with salmonella and other bacteria. So, is it safe? The evidence suggests the chlorine wash itself is not harmful, but the concern is that treating meat with chlorine at the end allows poorer hygiene elsewhere in the production process. So, why then ban chlorine-washed chicken? Good question, right? Washing chicken in chlorine and other disinfectants to remove harmful bacteria was a practice banned by the European Union in 1997 over food safety concerns. 1997. We're in 2019 now. You do the math. The ban has stopped virtually all imports of U.S. chicken meat, which is generally treated by this process. It is not consuming chlorine itself that the EU is worried about. In fact, in 2005, the European Food Safety Authority said that exposure to chlorine residues arising from treated poultry carcasses would be of no safety concern. Chlorine-rinsed bagged salads are common in the UK and other countries in the European Union. But the European Union believes that relying on chlorine rinse at the end of the meat production process could be a way of compensating for poor hygiene standards, such as dirty or crowded abattoirs. Now, instead, the European Union says the best way to eliminate the risk of salmonella and other bacteria is to maintain high farming and production standards. Sounds familiar? Wasn't that what we were talking about earlier? The European Commission says This rule is part of a wider European Union legislation ensuring a high level of safety throughout the food chain, from farm to fork. And we know some people, because of the almighty dollar, they don't give, well, it rhymes with fork. The US has voiced frustration, saying the ban is not based on scientific evidence. It even tried to bring a case before the World Trade Organization in 2008. Now, does that mean does US meat then have more harmful bacteria? Is that what it means? The US Department of Agriculture, USDA, National Antimicrobial Resistant Monitoring System, tests samples of raw chicken from shops for bacteria. In its most recent round of testing, it found a significant amount of bacteria, Campylobacter, which is the most common cause of food poisoning, in 30% of chicken carcasses, 26% of chicken parts, and 58% of mechanically separated chicken. These are used to make things like chicken nuggets. Again, we're still not sure which part of the chicken is the nugget, but chicken nuggets are a big thing. It is recorded how much of the chicken had more than 400 units of bacteria per gram of meat. In the UK, the government's Food Standards Agency found 54% of chickens had traces of bacteria, but only 6% had the highest levels. More than 1,000 units of bacteria per gram of meat. Since they don't measure exactly the same thing, it is difficult to compare these results. Chlorine does reduce the bacteria in chicken. It does. Although, by how much is where it is disputed. I'm not sure. The World Health Organization has highlighted that studies on the effectiveness of chlorine treatment gives mixed results. A study from the University of Southampton last year, in 2018, found that chlorine could make foodborne pathogens undetectable, giving low microbial counts in testing, but without actually killing them. So they might remain capable of causing disease. Now, again, this is information from the BBC, which is totally different from the information I was presenting to you earlier, most of which came from Mercola.com, Dr. Richard Mercola. You might say, okay, Stu, you're targeting. No, I'm not. I'm presenting information that is out there. If you don't believe me when I say it, outside of what I'm presenting, I'm giving my opinion, and my opinion is based on other material that I have come across over time. I've been doing this for 10 years. I'm going to come across some material. So, if you're going to have an opinion on something, let it be at minimum something that you have come across a few times, which is why I have an opinion on this, because I've come across it a few times. I've presented on it on multiple occasions. So where does that leave us? It leaves us with saying there's something, there's a trail here, there's a money trail that is worth following here. And if you think it doesn't boil down to money, you are sadly mistaken. One of the questions is food poisoning more common in the US? Well, comparing levels of illnesses in different countries is and can be very tricky. But there are different studies from the US and the UK which try to estimate the overall rate of food poisoning and adjust for the levels of underreporting in each health system. A study published in the UK in 2014, commissioned by the government, estimated that there were about 34,000 cases of salmonella from food per year, or about 55 per 100,000 people, based on 2009 data. A US study published in 2011 and using data from 2002 to 2008 estimated that there were just over 1 million cases of salmonella each year, a rate of about 350 per 100,000 people. You do your own comparison. From Campylobacter, the UK study estimated 280,000 cases, about 450 cases per 100,000 people. The US study estimated 845,024 cases of Campylobacter, or about 300 cases per 100,000 people. But it is hard to make comparisons between two different studies that use different methodologies. Did I say methodologies? Methodologies. Different methods. The World Health Organization tried to estimate global rates of sickness from food in 2015. It gave data for regions rather than individual countries. Data used for the study suggests that the region containing the US, Cuba, Canada, this region has a higher rate of salmonella, but a lower rate of Campylobacter than the region containing developed European countries, including the UK. So lots of people don't go to their doctors with symptoms of food poisoning. So in both the US and the UK, only the more severe cases of food poisoning will come to the attention of the authorities. And it may be at that a higher proportion of people are infected, but only certain groups, the very old and the very young, will actually end up being diagnosed and treated. Not all food poisoning is from meat, though. So you want to take that into consideration also. But poultry is the most common cause. And not all food poisoning is down to the production process. Some bacteria will actually be left on the skin of a chicken, so the care with which it is handled and cooked at home, these are very important. There are several pieces that go together to make up this puzzle. And when you address it piece by piece, then you put yourself in a better position. And trying to say you're addressing it generally. And of course, again, this is my opinion. But since Rome wasn't built in a day, you don't just come to the end of your journey when you say you start. You have to take some steps to get there. You have to take some steps to build up your country. It's a process. And as you check off one thing on the list, you maintain that and you move on to the next thing that you're working on. If you're working on maintaining your health or getting to a standard of health that you want to maintain, then you have to take certain steps. Go ahead, write them down, and check them off as you go along. See where you end up. Are you getting healthier? Are you staying right where you are? Or are you getting worse? And if you're staying where you are or you're getting worse, then you need to revisit that list. And as you go along, you should be improving in your health, in how you feel, all of these things should be improving until you get to that optimal point where when you get up, you actually say, boy, you know, I'm ready. I'm ready to take on whatever the world has to throw at me because I'm prepared, I'm protected. And no matter what, it's all good.
It's a good day. Ain't nothing gonna stop my stride or broke my vibe. All of that can go to him. I already made up my mind that I'm living my best.
This is Korik.
Every day I'm grown.
This is what we're striving towards.
Cause every day above ground is a good day. Instead of fight and quarrel and complain, give thanks and praise is what you should say. Cause every day above ground is
the track is called Good Day.
above ground is a good day. Instead of fight and quarrel and complain, give thanks and praise is what you should say. Cause every day above ground is a good day. Blessings step on me everywhere I go. Just shining sunlight through my window. Him say give thanks for life today because no one knows tomorrow. So I give thanks, no time for stressing. Every breath I breathe is a blessing. Respect to you, Jah. I'm confessing you're on things. I'm not guessing, cause every day above ground is a good day. Instead of fight and quarrel and complain, give thanks and praise is what you should say. Cause every day above ground is a good day. And every day above ground is a good day. Instead of fight and quarrel and complain, give thanks and praise is what you should say. Cause every day above ground is a good day. Got no time to be hateful. There's so much to be grateful for. You might never have your plate full, but from your living and breathing, stay cheerful and give thanks and learn this lesson. Every breath we breathe is a blessing. Respect to you, Jah. I'm confessing you run things. I'm not guessing, cause every day above ground is a good day. Instead of fight and quarrel and complain, give thanks and praise is what you should say. Cause every day above ground is a good day. And every day above ground is a good day. Instead of fight and quarrel and complain, give thanks and praise is what you should say. Cause every day above ground is a good day. I already made up my mind that I'm living my best life.
I'm definitely living my best life. What are you doing? You know, we are aware that things are changing around us all the time.
It's Una Morgan.
This is Una Morgan. The track is called Evolution. She's working out with Jadi and Bida Briglia.
Didn't know I was supposed to be. Didn't know who I was. Being the girl I thought I should be. Put my life on pause. At times I didn't feel right. Living in my own mind. Didn't know I was so right. But now I see it's evolution. Ain't no illusion. This evolution. Evolution. Me, I do what me have to do. Say what me have to say. Look here what you have to say. Say what me want to say.
Pull up with the glizzy gon' OD. All these little parties and they know me. Pull up with the glizzy gon' OD. All these little parties and they know me. Rockstar Bon Jovi. Rockstar Bon Jovi. All these little parties and they know me. Rockstar Bon Jovi. I learned it was chores, don't get lost in emotion. Break through the commotion I do. Shots make you jump up, gon' party till sun up like we don't got nothing to lose. All through the come up and working to stun up. I get what I want, yeah I choose. From winter to summer, I keep me my gunners. The haters, they want me to snooze.
It's evolution, my evolution. My evolution. This evolution. Evolution. I wanna say evolution. Me, I do what me have to do. Say what me have to say. Look here what you have to say. Say what me want to say. Up we say. Up we say.
Una Morgan, First Lady of the Morgan Heritage Family. I say formally. Yeah, the Morgan Heritage Family.
No more time for playing. I will never ever be alone. Gotta make a change. Time to rearrange.
revolution, mind captivation. Feel the vibration, never watch fade. Fun on pollution, Afro evolution with a pun. Hep word, I'm a weapon. Rise from the ashes with vengeance, sending the blessings every sentence. Feeling my essence in your presence, ayy. Whoa, 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 ayy. Mix the evolution with a pun. Living in illusion through all the confusion. I forgive thanks for the almighty one. Still remain strong in a white man land. Mix the evolution with a pun. It's a evolution with a pun. Mix the evolution with a pun. Okay, no pollution. What we say? What we say?
Evolution, my evolution. Ain't no illusion. This evolution, evolution. I wanna say evolution. Me I do what me have to do. Say what me have to say. No care what you have to say. Say what me want to say.
I want to say thanks to GMAT Music Solutions for sponsoring this segment of the show.
Say what me have to say. No care what you have to say.
What segment is it? It's our musical therapy segment.
I wanna say evolution. Me I do what me have to do. Say
Slightly extended.
evolution. I wanna say evolution. Me I do what me have to do. Say what me have to say. No care what you have to say. Say what me want to say. Now it's time for me to be grown. No more time for games. No more time for playing. I will never ever be alone. Gotta make a change. Time to rearrange.
Yeah, how do you see it? Musical therapy. And you know what? I want to say happy Earth Day to a man that comes from a family of musicians, a very talented family of musicians. His two brothers are singers as well. And I'm gonna say big ups, happy Earth Day, Yishka.
Come here, girl. I'm right here, baby. You know what I wanna do? What do you wanna do, baby? I just wanna hold you right now. Oh, baby. Come a little closer.
This is his rendition of the Johnny Gill classic, My, My, My. And oh my, what a rendition it is.
Put on your red dress and slip on your high heels and some of that sweet perfume. It sure smells good on you. Slide on your lipstick. Baby, you wear the crown. 'Cause when you get through, I wanna show off you. Tonight will be a special night, but many more to come. Baby, I'm so proud to be with you. I just wanna let you know you got me saying my, 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 my. You sure look good tonight, and you're so damn fine. You got me saying my, 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 my. You sure look good tonight. After all this time, slip on your mind now. Step in my bedroom. First I wanna take some time. I just wanna look at you. Girl, you are so fine. I can't believe my eyes. You know what I wanna do. I wanna make love to you. Tonight will be a special night, of many more to come. Baby, I'm so proud to be with you. So proud to share your love. You sure look good tonight, and you're so damn fine. You got me saying my, 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 my. You sure look good tonight. After all this time.
Now know, this is Yishka showing off his saxophone talents. Saxophone skills there by Yishka. Happy Earth Day to Yishka. This is Miss Annette Brissett. Track called My Everything.
A girl could ever need. You fill my day with joy and laughter. What more can I need? You are my everything, everything to me. Yes, you are. You are my everything, everything. These arms are made for hugging, baby, and you fit right in. Come winter, summer, autumn, spring, you're my kind of man. You are everything to me a girl would ever need. You fill my day with joy and laughter. What more can I need? You are, yes, you are my everything, my everything, everything, baby. You are, yes, you are my everything, my everything, my everything, you are my everything, about yes, you are. Say I'd like to hold you in my arms, hold and make you mine, because I know that when you're with me, everything will be fine. You are everything to me a woman never needs. You fill my day with joy and laughter. What more can I need? You are, I know, my everything, yes, you are, yes, you are my
I'll say nothing about that message. Just got a text message. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching.
You're the one.
I miss you in the morning, baby. It's true. Sleep at night without you.
You're the one, the number one.
This is Ed Robinson. Baby, it's you.
I wanna spend my life with you. Need you to know, baby, it's you. Lady, it's you. No one else will do. No one, no one, no one. If I had to start all over again, this journey through life with a friend, girl, it will be you, yeah. With someone on whom I can depend. spend my life with you. Wanna give my heart to you. Baby, it's you. Oh yeah. No one else will do. No one. You see the love I found in you, yeah. It's making me feel brand new. So brand new. Girl, you've been there through rough times. Oh yeah. You've been patient and so kind. Oh girl, yeah. Never knew a love so kind. No. Until I met you, baby. Now I know the reasons why. You're why. Baby, it's you. Baby, it's you, yeah. I wanna spend my life with you. Wanna spend my life with you. Baby, it's you, baby. Yeah. No one else will do. No one else will do. No. Now looking back at what I had, I'd be a fool to let you go. Whoa, no.
Oh, you missed me playing the Jadan new song earlier.
Baby, it's you. I wanna
Jadan's new track called Truth. But you have my word, I'll play it tomorrow.
Baby, it's you.
Real Talk Wednesday tomorrow, and Real Talk tomorrow is going to be of a different kind.
No one else will do. No one.
I've been told once that I'm kind of scary
Baby, it's true. Lady, it's true.
because I'm like a pressure cooker.
I wanna spend my life with you. Yeah. I wanna give
It looks quite unassuming,
lady, it's true.
but if you don't handle with care, you could end up in a whole lot of problems.
No one else will do. Lady, it's true. Baby,
So tomorrow, Real Talk,
I wanna spend my life.
it's gonna be Real Talk,
My life with you.
all coming out of the stew pot. Yep. My talk, Real Talk.
I'm not saying she's perfect. I'm not saying she's a saint.
This is Hezron,
Saying is treat her a little bit.
a track called Treat Her Better.
I'm not saying she's blameless. Jah knows we all made mistakes. All I'm saying is treat her a little better. If having her by your side is something that you enjoy, and if you see her as a real woman, not someone you take as a toy, well, I'm not saying she may not be cussing and sometimes get on your nerves, yes. All I'm saying, Father, treat her a little better. I'm not saying she's spotless or a little bit impatient, yes. All I'm saying is treat her a little better. And I know she may test your pride, but you can't find the man inside. Yeah, just treat her a little better. Now what you are going to know, she pack up and gone. In the middle of the night when the HR call, you are beat down the door, I tired of the miss bomb. With her 5 bikini, one never left her arm. But as the saying goes, God never know the use of his tail till it's gone. Treat her a little better. I'm not saying she's a saint, oh, but I know she's an angel. Oh, and I'm saying, brother, treat her a little better. And I know you are the king, but every king deserves a queen. Treat her as such, treat her a little better. Oh. La 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 la. Just
remember if you're in a bad spot, she will be the first to react. Oh, that's why I'm saying, and when certain friends get found, remember she's always around. Yeah. Treat her a little better. Have you ever sat with something that you enjoy? And if you see her as a real woman, not someone you take as a toy. Well, I'm not saying she may not be testing, but sometimes get on your nerves, yes. All I'm saying, brother, treat her a little better. I'm not saying she's perfect, I'm not saying she's a saint, no. All I'm saying, brother, treat her a little better. I'm not saying she's blameless, she knows we all make mistakes, so treat her a little better.
There are anomalies that happen, oh baby.
This is G. Cole.
Everyone's upon a time.
Yeah, the same guy that does Homegrown with G. Cole.
Like the way my heart was beating.
Track called Imperfect People.
All that special about your pretty eyes made mine. The world will never see it. No, baby. We're from totally different worlds. Oh, yeah. But if only they could feel it, they would understand how much I love you, girl. Sometimes there's no rhyme or reason, no special sign from above, no special sign from above. We're just two imperfect people. Break your heart, I won't ever cause you pain. Now, baby, let's just be those two links, baby, that will form that perfect shape. Yeah. I'm not your daddy's favorite, nah, baby, and your mom's no fan of mine. Let's just do our thing and show the world our love can stand the test of time. Whoa, sometimes there's no rhyme or reason, no special sign from above, no special sign from above. We're just two imperfect people.
Talk about a perfect song. Imperfect People.
Before I could run, I found you already settled down in the back of my mind.
This is Wild Tree.
It's just a customary feeling.
If I didn't know any better.
Fever that will leave you running blind. Your heart is pulling. If I didn't know any better, I'd be falling deeper and deeper. It's true. I hear it calling. If I didn't know any better, I'd be in love with you. Didn't want to look in the eyes of the one that I would be drawn to. I'm a moth lost in a fire. I know this is just a beautiful illusion, a case of the confusion between love and desire. Your heart is pulling. If I didn't know any better, I'd be falling deeper and deeper. It's true. I hear it calling. If I didn't know any better, I'd be in love with you. Burn down and settle down, and you forget I ever came around.
As I'm feeling overwhelmed, yeah. 'Cause I've worked the hardest
This is the sound of Gramps Morgan.
before I rest my weary head, yeah.
A track called Darling It's You.
Darling, it's you that I want when I'm feeling down inside. And darling, it's you
This is our musical therapy tonight.
when I think of the sweetest.
Nice and mellow, warm and easy.
All is well, and I'm living a perfect life. Darling, with you. Darling, it's you. Yeah. As our love grows stronger, yeah. I don't plan to ease up the pace. Yeah. Times I wish we could speak longer. Yeah. But for now, I'll just say to you, yeah, darling, it's you that I want when I'm feeling down inside. Darling, it's you that I love when I think of the sweetest time. When I'm with you, all is well, and I'm living a perfect life. Darling, with you, darling, it's you, yeah. I'm missing you, darling. Finally, I'm coming home to you, yeah. To show you my love and how much I care, yeah. Can't wait to hold and kiss and embrace you, my love. We're gonna light the fire and let love burn, yeah. Darling, it's you that I want when I'm feeling down inside. Darling, it's you that I love when I think of the sweetest times. When I'm with you, all is well, and I'm living a perfect life. Darling, with you. Darling, it's you, yeah. Darling, with you. Darling, it's you, yeah. Darling,
This is You Madu.
You just reach for your phone.
His rendition of Mr. Fix It.
I'll be here at home.
I got 5 minutes to go.
And I'll be there. If your heart's been shattered and the pieces are scattered all across the ground of loneliness, just you reach for your phone. I'll be here at home. My name is Fix It and I'll be there. Love is not a bed of roses, and life is not the game it seems. 'Cause if you've been mistreated by your lover, don't you worry, come see me. Whoa, if your heart's been shattered and the pieces are scattered all across the ground of loneliness, just you reach for your phone. 'Cause I'll be here at home. My name is Fix It and I'll be there. They call me Mr. Fix It. That's my specialty.
If I can, I'd like to see you.
This is Benjamiah's working out with Joanna Marie. Track called Like to Have You.
And find day after day, I keep searching for a love that's right.
This is Joanna Marie, and it's all about DJ Kevin Stew on the night shift. You feel for some stew? Check out Kevin Stew.
Yeah, lady.
Thank you, Joanna. This is how I bounce out of here tonight.
Long time.
I don't know if it's a calm before the storm, or the vibe that we need to roll out with to close out the day.
Watch this.
But catch you tomorrow, the Real Talk Wednesday.
If I can, I'd like to see you every day and every
There's some people that have been saying, listen, Stu, I want to hear your views on some of the things you've been talking about.
day after day.
And now you get to hear it.
Searching
Tune in tomorrow.
for a love that's right. Even when you're out of sight, I've been waiting patiently for someone like you. What am I gonna do without you? There you are. Come right here. Come let me show you, baby, how much I really care.
Want to say big ups to Melissa. And I want to remind you to join Marlon tomorrow before tuning in to me on Real Talk, closing out the night shift week. Marlon with Real Rockers. He's on from 7 till 10. Check him out, y'all. Real reggae music entertainer.
I'd like to have you. I'd like to hold you. Really turn me on. On and on and on.
Good night, Thea.
I'd like to caress you.
Good night, Michelle.
Show you midnight until dawn.
Thank y'all for tuning in. This is where I roll out everybody. Those of you who I didn't hear from, thank you for the support. Share the show with somebody. Click on the donate button. Catch y'all later on, okay? I'm out of here. Peace and love.
I'd like to hold you. Really turn me on. On and on and on and on.
When being in the moment is priceless, consider the ability to share that moment. If you can video it, you can broadcast it. And Pulse E-Media Group has the tools you need. Weddings, birthdays, funerals, graduations, church services, parties, seminars, you name it. Pulse E-Media Group can provide you with a secure medium controlled by you to broadcast your event. Contact us at www.pulsemediagroup.com for more information. Pulse E-Media Group, when being in the moment is priceless.